life in general is all about timing and opportunity.
Yep, that's definitely true. That's definitely true.
So how did you meet James, Irv? Take us back.
I met him in 2009, the LeBron James Skills Academy in Akron, Ohio, which is basically the Nike All-American camp for the most part. The top high school players, the top college players, he was going into his sophomore year. So you had guys like, I think, Stephen Curry, Patrick Beverly, Wesley Matthews. That group of guys were in college, and they were about to be, in their last year or whatever. So he was one of the college guys in that group. So we became friends there, and he just so happened to get drafted by Oklahoma City, which is where I'm from. So we would stay in contact. When I would be home, I would work with him or Cody or whatever. Then I moved to Miami from New Orleans. He was dating a girl in Miami, come work out with me there. I left Miami. I go to Phoenix. He went to Arizona State. So we work out there when we be in Arizona. Then when I got fired from the Suns, that's when he asked me to be his full-time trainer.
And that's still current? You still are his full-time trainer?
Nah, so I don't work with him full-time anymore. Okay. I left the Suns staff, the Rockets staff a year ago. And so, he works with their staff mainly now. But, for the most part, from his time he got in the league till last year, the last 3 years prior to this year, we worked exclusively. But before that, we'd find like a month, a week, or whatever here and there to work out.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing that, a lot of people don't notice about James Harden. I didn't either until, somebody mentioned it to me. It's like, he a big dude. You know what I'm saying? He not no small guard at all. Like when I see this dude on TV, just in the bubble, I'm like, yo, this dude every bit of 250, son, and moving like that and stepping back and hopping on one leg.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's crazy.
Bigger guard, light on his feet. That's the thing about him. He has the best feet in the NBA. So his ability to start and stop is better than anybody in the league. So you don't think of him as like a ultra athletic guy, but because he's so light on his feet, he's able to get separation and make these moves look smoother than a lot of players do.
For sure. So compared to a guy like James Harden, just talk to us about training a guy like Kyrie. What are you thinking going into training a guy like Kyrie?
Yeah, so Kyrie's stuff is more about deception. He has a better handle than anybody that's pretty much ever played this game. So Kyrie, James is playing more at the top of the key, trying to get his three ball off. You pressure him, he's going to get to the rim. The way the Rockets play, it's all threes and layups. Kyrie is going to score at all three levels, three ball, mid-range, and getting to the rim. So it's just a little different setup in the variety of moves and the shots that he's going to take compared to James.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, Irv, you spent some time, and I'm a big Rockets fan, so okay. I want to pick your brain about this. Mm-hmm. Can you just talk to us what it was like to coach for the Houston Rockets, to be their player development guy, and what went into it? What was a day-to-day thing, a day in the life of Irv Roland?
Yeah, that team was different. We didn't really practice. We didn't have shoot around. Like most teams have shoot around the day of the game in the morning. We didn't have shoot arounds. Our practices were more like our shoot around. So everything was real light, real laid back. And the way we coached as a player development guy, like I said, is way different than pretty much any other team because we didn't shoot what we call tough twos. We didn't shoot mid-range jump shots. So the way you train, the way you work with guys is a lot different than any other team because of the shot selection.
Gotcha.
So with that being said, so you were part of that run where it looked like the Rockets were going to win the finals in 2018, mm-hmm. right? And Chris goes down. Can you kind of talk to us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's something that I'll probably think about. I'll definitely think about the rest of my life because you win a championship. That's life-changing. So for that to happen and, me being somebody who's close to Chris, I felt for him, but then also, I felt for all of us because, we had the Golden State Warriors, having Trevor Ariza, having Luka Mbamute on that team, guys that, can make the three ball, but also very versatile defensively, being able to guard multiple positions. That was something that we couldn't duplicate again after that. We came back and we just didn't have the same type of length on the perimeter. So we weren't able to compete with Golden State to the same degree. We had them down 3-2. Chris gets hurt. They win 2 in a row. But the 2 games we lost, we were up 17 in Game 6, up 14 in Game 7, lost both of those. Then the next year we came back. We beat them 3-1 in the regular season. So, we had confidence against those guys. But in the 7-game series, we just didn't have the defenders to throw at KD and slow him down or, try to hound Steph in the way we did before. So, like I said, it was heartbreaking. And so you lose that series, and that pretty much is like, what tore that group apart as far as our coaching staff and things like that.
Man, that's great insight. And, well, you touched on it a little bit. So what happened? I've always been curious about this, like with your exit from the Rockets, when they made some staff changes. How did that go down?
Budget cuts. The owner, he owns a lot of hotels and restaurants. With COVID, he's fired thousands of employees.
Mm-hmm.
So he fired us, half of our staff. So it wasn't like, we lost and he fired the whole staff. He just fired half the assistants. And then they fired 7 of us total and brought in 2 guys who basically still getting paid by the Sacramento Kings. So, kind of offset the contract. So he saved them money. So, just one of those things.
Okay. So
mm-hmm.
I always, wondered with what happened. They never really said, but it's crazy the times that we live in,
Yeah, trying to save money.
That's how it is, yo. Like when I came to the league, like that's when I realized, like, yo, all this stuff a business. I don't care how good anybody is. That money coming before anything. Like, and, like it's really sad because, like you get what you pay for nowadays. And I've always been a believer in that, and in my eyes, I already know we're talking to one of the greatest to do it, So, but we also know how life works, But honestly, it's just once again, everybody, it's Irv Roland we got on here, and it's just an honor to have you on, my guy, for sure.
No doubt. Yeah, I love the game, but the business part, man, that's what sucks the joy out of it for me a lot of times. So that's why I enjoy working with kids more than I, like working with pros.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So, just talk a little bit about Chris Paul for me. People have told us, like, I've heard just around, that Chris Paul is just one of the more serious, more fundamental, perfectionist like basketball players. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think he's the best point guard ever. Magic Johnson was a great player, but couldn't really shoot. He was a great passer. He couldn't really defend for real. Couldn't really dribble that great. He just backed people. You make him 6 feet, like Chris, like what are we talking about? You're not backing people down no more. You're not shooting hook. Like he was a center playing the point guard, who could make flash passes, which was great. But I think overall, you put Chris with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he has 5 titles too. But anyway, Chris's ability to think the game, to make people better, they had a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs. He's got these guys with a better record than the Houston Rockets who traded him. I just think, they don't really make players like that anymore. A guy who can be a leader, can go out and get you 30, but can get you 15 assists or whatever. And then a lot of these guys, they can score, they can pass, whatever, but they're not great at the defensive end. So somebody competes on the defensive end like that, and it's just solely about winning. It's rare that you find players like that.
For sure, yeah.
And shout out to Chris Paul. He's from North Carolina, just like us.
Guy.
Yeah.
You already know.
Yeah.
NC guy.
Yeah.
State Farm commercial, Chris.
Right.
Hey, whenever somebody mentioned Chris Paul, I just think of him like on the state. That's all I think of, like the State Farm commercial, the assistant, like that's on a classic.
For real. So, Irv, I kind of want to shift gears a little bit.
Yeah.
You've been in the news, and this is a subject that I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with, mostly everybody. The Black Lives Matter movement and the protesting. And I know you were recently just back in Louisville again protesting the Breonna Taylor death. Can you kind of talk to us about, your role in that?
Yeah, so I I have a group. They're called Until Freedom. I'm real close with those guys. And Tamika Mallory, my son, Linda Sarr, and Angelo Pinto. And they formed this group before they were called the Justice League. And, the whole goal is to go out and fight for justice for these cases, mainly in police brutality. My thing is, no, I'm not Malcolm X or, anything like that, but I have a small little bit of a platform. And so with that, I feel like it's important for me to be present. I think too many people look at these issues and feel like I can't affect change. Maybe it's I'm scared to be out there on the front line, or like maybe other people will go for me and I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't have to be there. But for me, especially right now, not being with a team or having to be in a little bubble thing, COVID going on, I'm not working every day. So with all that being said, I'm not going to just sit in my house and post black squares on my Instagram page. I'm going to go, really be on the front line. Like I tell these dudes, it's like, y'all sing all these Nipsey Hussle songs about being 10 toes down and being in front line, but y'all in your house scary. And you only want to run up on somebody if they flagrant value in a pickup game. Like,
thanks.
So, Breonna Taylor, I just got back from there yesterday. I had a couple NBA guys pull up. I met Breonna's mom a couple of times now, but they were able to meet Breonna's mom, and she was super happy that, some NBA guys took time out of their schedule to pull up and be there with her and the family. For myself, like I just got to be present. So I've been 4 times in the last 6 weeks, probably going back next week. And after we finally get justice for this, Lord willing, then we'll move on to the next case, and I'll be front and center for that as long as I have time.
For sure, bro. And that's definitely huge. Like you said, for people like us who have a name in another place in society that's big, such as football or being an NBA trainer. Like we need to be the ones who step up and say something, because our words will touch a lot more people than just a normal person's words will. So it's huge. This is LeBron James, just anybody who just steps up and shows that, like, that they care and that they're willing to fight for justice. I feel like that's what's gonna cause this world to change. And I talked about it a lot before on the podcast, and me and Cody have had a lot of discussions about it. But it didn't just start with police. This is way past police, and now we're finally starting to look at that. It's this stuff has been going on in everybody's lives. Like, police, it came out because they had the power to force it. You know what I'm saying? But this racism, this injustice towards black people have been going on for a long time now. And it's not coming from the police. It comes from how people are raised. And until we change that, Irv, the mindset of children, because you aren't born a racist, or you aren't born exactly. So therefore, until we change the younger culture, then I think that's where we got to start. That's the first place. And who do they look up more to than NBA players and NFL players and celebrities, So I feel like we definitely got to be a voice in the community. The NFL is actually doing this awareness on the Black Lives Matter movement, and they're allowing us to wear decals on the back of our helmet. So I chosen to wear just Black Lives Matter on the back of mine. We could have chose a name or whatever that we wanted to, but I just didn't want to single out any one person. I wanted to just Black Lives Matter, So that's what we're doing for sure.
That's what's up.
Yeah, but I know that's dope though. Just to for Breonna Taylor's mom, just to have all the NBA players come to her and just show that support. Because like I said, that shows right there that just what she say, she just couldn't. You say she was just excited, she couldn't believe it. So that just shows that you stepping out of your way to do something just as small as show your face for somebody, what it can do. So just imagine what you can. You know what I'm saying? It just shows, bro. It really shows.
Yeah.
And I think it's good, the conversation is finally being had, and taken serious. Over the last couple of years, something would happen, and then people would talk about it for 3-4 weeks, and then it would disappear, and it's life back to normal. Now, people are speaking up and speaking up and speaking up, and they're continuing to have that conversation and raise this awareness. And you're seeing